Dividing decimals. Dividing decimals. So the point is we want no decimals in the divisor or the front number. Right, so this number right here is the divisor, the 2. So if there is a decimal, we're going to have to go ahead and move the decimal in both the divisor and the dividend. So we'd move it in the 2, and then we would move it in the 8, which is the dividend, right, if there was a decimal in the divisor. And if we run out of digits, we can just add zeros. And then after dividing, we're going to move the decimal straight up. Example 1, nursing home needs to order bed rails for the beds. If the total cost is $1,245.30 for 14 items, how much is the cost of one bed rail? So we're going to go 14 and then go, right, how many times could it go into $1,245.30? Well, 14 can't go into 1, so that's a 0. 14 can't go into 12, so that's another 0. But 14 can go into 124, so we can go 14 times 9. So we have 6, right, because it's 36 carried the 3, and that's a 12 then. And so that's too large, but let's go 14 times 8, right? So 4 times 8 is 32, carry the 3. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So we have 112. We subtract, we get 2 and 1. Then our next step would be to bring down the 5. Well, we look at these two numbers, right? Well, 14 can't go into 125 9 times because that's still too large, but it can go into it 8 times. So we put the second 8 over the 5. I forgot the first 8. And then we go ahead and subtract. And we get 13. Then we go ahead and bring down the 3. Now we notice that we can go into 133 times 9 times, right? So we put the 9 over the 3, we take 126 and subtract. So we need to borrow, we have a 7. Then we're just going to go ahead and bring down this 0, and we have 70. Well, we look at, right, 14, and let's go 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2, and that's a 7. 14 can go into 75 times. And then at the very end, we go ahead and bring that decimal straight up. So the cost per bed rail is $88.95. Now let's go ahead and look at the next example. Example 2, 50.744 divided by 3.2. So we have 3.2. Now 32, right, because we need to move that decimal over there. Then we're going to move this decimal here because we want to get it out of the divisor. And so now we can begin. 32 can't go into 5, but it can, right, so we just put a 0 there. But 32 can go into 50 one time. We subtract. And we get, right, 18. Then we're going to go ahead and bring down a 7. So 32 can go into 187 how many times? So let's go 32 times 5. We get 10, and that's 16. We subtract, and we get 27. But let's go ahead and put that 5 above, right, because the 5 there. Then we're going to go ahead and bring down a 4. So 32 can go into 274 how many times? So 32... Let's go ahead and go, right, another 60 would get us around to 220, right, because that'd be 32 times 7, so around, right, 220. So let's go ahead and go 8 and see where that is. So 32, so 2 times 8 is 16, carry the 1, that's 225. Now we're going to go ahead and subtract, because we're going to go ahead and put an 8 there. So we have 4 minus 6 can't be done. We need to borrow. So we have 8 and a 1. Then we're going to go ahead and bring down this 4. So we have 184. So 32 can go into 184 how many times? Well, if we look at this, right, it's 5 times because that's 160, right? And if you added another 32 to 160, that'd be over 190, so that's too much. So we put a 5 above there. We put, right, 160 here, and we get 24. So we need to go ahead and add a 0 here. And then we're going to go ahead and bring it down to right here. So now we have 240. So let's go ahead and go 32 times 7. That would be 14, carry the 1. That's 224. So we can put a 7 right there. So then we go minus 224. What do we get? Well, we need to borrow. So that's a 6 and a 1. So we have 16. Let's go ahead and add a 0. Another 0, right? Let's maybe do a different color. We're going to go ahead and bring that down. So we have 160. Well, we look at our numbers. We know we can go into 165 times, so we just got to put a 5 above there. We subtract 160 because 32 times 5 is 160, and we get 0. So then all we have to do is just put that decimal straight up, which is right there between the 5 and the 8. So what's our final answer? 15.8575 as our final answer.